Hi, my name is Ayesha. I'm a fusion tech artist, and today I'm here in this gallery to be inspired by a new body of work. And it's a beautiful collection of artworks. It's fine art, but the interesting thing about this is that there's a touch of this digital mixed media feeling, and that's something that we will be exploring in some of the works that I'll be going through. So I'll take you on this journey. This is actually the first work of art, and I think the use of color here is quite bright, which I'm loving because when you have very raw color, so it almost brings you a lot of energy. And obviously, blue and orange color they complement each other quite well. And in general, I mean, when I see the concept or the inspiration that I feel for the artist, it's definitely dogs, and it's definitely maybe it reminds me of Scooby Doo or Donald Duck, and all these characters which are somehow mixed up. You can sense that there is some inspiration here and there, around these characters, which takes us to this nostalgic journey. In our childhood, we used to watch a lot of these. So it's like a boat. The concept is like it's around a boat, and these characters are maybe in that boat, and they're trying to escape. And by the way, one thing that I just noticed is that there's a lot of eyes that are, drawn in a very abstract, almost raw manner. And I think that's intentional because like I said, it looks like the artwork was kept in a raw manner so that it takes us to those nostalgic days when we used to sit and make those weird drawings. So that quality is there, and obviously the paint splashes and everything. So I'm really loving the overall work, and the concept is nice. It's like an for escape plan for all the characters which are going from the boat, and maybe these are some of the eyes that are watching them. Yeah. So really like the overall energy of the work and the colors, and obviously the use of red colors. It's always quite inspiring to see, for me especially because I love the use of red. And then obviously this work is also quite interesting when it comes to the conceptual side of it. But I think this is quite metaphorical in the way that the word speedo has been highlighted, and you can sense that it has multiple meanings. So these kind of it's in contrast to the artwork that I just discussed. It's quite different, and yes, you see that in last year. So there's like multiple metaphors that you see the usage of, and obviously one cannot hint exactly what it means, but I think that's the beauty of the visual art. Certain elements in isolation reminds you of something. For me, it reminds me of my days when I was trying to learn swimming and then I didn't do it. So I don't know what the message of this is, but see, like the sunny plus, it reminds me of the injuries that I got. And then this one obviously is by the same artist, and it's about something similar as well, but it looks like maybe a pocket or maybe the mind of someone who is trying to, make some plan around something. So that quite looks quite interesting. And we see two pair of glasses. So there's almost a sense of symmetry in the composition of the artwork. You can sense this, almost like the division of the canvas, but at the same time, the eye moves quite nicely because this is the side where the composition is balancing more, and this is where the conceptual side exists. But yeah, like I like the usage of the wallet thing made into characters, and these characters, it almost seems as if that incognito tab that we have in our browsers, like the glasses and those hands and everything. So really enjoying that too. And then obviously this one, I like the usage of color and the gradient, but the technique is quite nice. I don't know, like the way it's been cut out and layered so that the one medium, or you can say one level, is creating that feel of texture. So it's another way how illustration can be, I think, given a more three dimensionality in the real world, and that can mimic almost like a stroke of a fine artist. So this is done by a digital artist, but in a manner that the gradient itself is the highlight, because you see like dark purple to light pink to white. It's almost like that Photoshop digital feel, but in a much more tangible manner. And now these artworks, this one is actually something that I really like because it has that abstract and figurative theme, and also the way it's been designed. I mean, the use of color, it makes your eye almost move around the canvas. And I think other than the theme of this artwork, there's this energy in the canvas itself, and obviously the use of color. I mean, gray. the neutrals and the whites are balanced so nicely with the darks, the reds, maroons, and rust. So it's almost like a yin yang. It's almost like a yin yang within the canvas, where the lights are balanced by the darkness. And I think the key is that two people coming together, and they're trying to understand each other, and the energy is flowing. So really enjoying this piece as well, and the use of color to almost create that underlying layer of muscles. I think it's phenomenal because then it's not about what you see on the outside, but it's actually about what you see in the inside. It's almost like that layer of skin that exists beneath your skin, and it's where your energy is flowing. And this hand complements quite well with this hand, because obviously this hand shows the suppression or the trust, but this hand shows the protection for me. So I think the theme is quite a good example of how the conceptual side can balance with a more figurative, with a more metaphorical angle of the work of art. And this one also, I think it's a good example of conceptual work of art, because obviously you can sense that the theme of it is, it's not about the act itself that you see, which is the highlight of the work, but at the same time it's about the things that can happen to maybe someone who is living in a place like this, in a place like this. So there's always problems even with people who have a beautiful home, an American dream maybe, or a proper house, right? So for me, I think the message that I get is that even if something feels like a dream, even if something feels like complete, there is always this sense of lie, or there's this sense of something that is not seen. So the idea is not to think about the word liar and think of it in a direct manner, but to think about the things that are there in the society as an underlying layer that you don't usually see with someone who might be living in a house like this. So this might be the concept and the inspiration or the hidden messages, because painting is all about bringing the surreal ideas inspired by the reality, and obviously the technical elements. I think it's quite nicely done, because your eye moves from house to layer, which I think it's quite interesting, because first you see the house for me, and then you see the lion. And if you see it from a distance, yes, house is more overpowering, right? And that's, I think, the theme, right? The main idea is that you think about family, the home, and what the home stands for, and then it takes you through the painting. And this breathing space is quite nice because it's almost balancing the entire composition. So lovely, work of art there as well. And then in the last, we have this work of art, which is actually my most favorite. And it's for a reason, because one, there's a lot of texture that grips you, that almost wants you to see the artwork again and again. And when you see it from a close up, I think you get to explore a lot of details. Like here, you can see almost like a use of impasto in like really bold strokes that you see. But then, having said that, you can see like sharp edges or the boundaries that are defined for the strokes, which shows that you're almost giving direction, but then you're also taking back the control. And obviously the theme in itself, you see a wolf, you see maybe it's a fox or a wolf or some hybrid creature, but the theme seems as if it's a moonlight, or it's like almost a midnight, but the colors are so rich that it looks like the half of the painting uh, was, it's based on maybe a swimming pool or maybe some jungle, because you can't actually tell if it's a swimming pool, or if it's a pond or what, but you can sense this interaction between an animal and a human being. And by the way, this human being, you can tell that the panic is there, but also it could be a gesture of love, because it's no one is doing anything. So it's called kind of like in the moment act that has been captured. And I think this is what the painting can be about. And then obviously you can see a lot of texture that is on the hair, and again it's the use of impasto building, a lot of layers that went into the paint, that is one on the top of the other. So again, the use of texture that is in contrast with like very smooth watery strokes that is like around the canvas. And then again, coming back to a lot of one single stroke, which is like a bold move in the impasto with the gradient. So this one, I think it's a bit more difficult to achieve, as an artist, which I think it's quite phenomenal that it's being done in a very cut off manner, because this canvas was sectioned a lot. There's a lot of sectioning within the canvas, and it's hard to do because it's one single canvas, and there's a lot of sectioning that creates this almost like a multi-visual dimensions within the work of art. And then there are obviously a lot of watery sections where you see like almost the watery use of oil. So this is oil, a lot of oil here as well, and this is acrylic with impasto. So, a lot of different techniques which are mixed together, I think, which creates this almost, multiple sensory feelings within this one work of art. Right?